Welcome to the Social Podcast, where no discussion or debate is off limits.
Is it me or is it a little bit hot in here? Like so hot, it's 98 degrees. Yeah. I just said, put the thermostat up to 98 degrees. Welcome. It's a really exciting show. We're so excited to have you all here. Let's welcome back the host of The Social's Mom Life Crisis and the NSL on TSN. Kate McKenna is back.
Yeah.
Thank you. And former professional football player, Grey Cup champion, and media personality, Enoch Muamba's back. Yes, he is. I wanted to say he is back, and it is Enoch, okay?
Yeah.
There it is.
You got it.
Well, why don't we start with a sports story, shall we? All right. Well, it's not actually, no, take two. It's not a sports story.
We're getting there.
We're going to get to the sports story. But listen, the New York Times is reporting that Germany right now is considering conscription. Now, what's conscription, in case you don't know? It is forced military service. And that is only if they cannot find enough volunteers to sign up for the military. The problem is so bad that Army recruiters, they decided to show up at a go-kart race. Yeah, hoping to entice kids to enlist one day. Now listen, let's bring it back home. With Canada and its NATO allies committing to spend 5% of our GDP on defense by the year 2035, would you be okay with military recruitment at kids' events to avoid possible conscription here?
Listen, I think I know where the audience stands, but I have to say, I'm okay with it. Is this any different than when they roll in the cop cars to kids' schools, right? To kids' parades? They're not brainwashing them, right? They're bringing in the tanks. Kids can go and talk to soldiers. I would rather my kid get an understanding of what military life is like from the words of a soldier than through what they see online. And also, desperate times call for desperate measures, guys. This isn't normal times. No. Germany, they polled their citizens. Only 17% of Germans would say they defend their country if attacked. So if it's between this and conscription,
Or invasion?
What do you think?
Listen, I totally understand it, and I see the reason why they have to take this type of approach because of the generation that we live in. We live in the TikTok era. Kids want to have a soft life, and the millennial parents now as well have a different approach to parenting, right? They want, gentle parenting, and it's not like the old baby boomers.
Throw them in the army?
It's not like back in the day where the baby boomers were they were 18-year-olds building houses, right? That's not the era and the generation that we live in nowadays. So you have to find different ways to attract these kids, and you're gonna probably do it doing these type of things.
So if your daughters went, Daddy, I really want to join the military.
Listen, I didn't say it was for me, but I understand the approach.
Yeah, I do.
Especially with the way the world is going towards right now.
Yeah.
Interesting. Well, I'm the only one without kids here, and I hate this. I think it's inappropriate and unethical. And I think it's really interesting. It's you know what? It's not that I have a problem with the armed forces recruiting. It's where they're recruiting. Let children be children. We have learned from history and all the mistakes that we've made that it's not right to have children working in factories, letting them smoke. We won't even let them watch horror movies. There is an age limit to certain things because we've learned that their brains aren't fully developed. So the idea that the armed forces would show up at places where, say, a 9-year-old and we're trying to channel them into this kind of lifestyle, I think is wrong. Now, if you want to do it on career day for high school students, I'm here for it. It totally makes sense. But for me, I'm like, what are we saying to our kids? And if the armed forces can do it, can the pharmaceutical company be next to do a little swing by the playground? Who else? What other organizations can swing by to talk to your kids about what they should do with their future?
But are you anti all of them? Like right now when I take my kids out, there's modeling agents walking through those crowds all the time. There's police, there's firefighters. So are you no?
Wait. Police and firefighters are walking around doing what? Are they just walking around because they're supposed to be at an event? They're hired there to protect
people? They're showcasing their vehicles. But in this case, it's not like they're going to the kids and being like, you must join.
But that was a tent that you showed me. That was a tent that we saw at that go-kart. That is a tent. That is something that you only see at career day recruitments. It's like, yes, come and get a pamphlet. Come and talk to us. That's very different than someone who's in uniform walking around just being like, hey, we're here. You want to see the car? We had that. Remember the one with the eyelids that would blink? We had that, and that was cute, but that was not recruitment. That was about safety.
I also don't think that it's like they want to do this. I think they're doing this out of necessity because the numbers are so low, right? I don't love the idea myself.
Yeah, I want to take a step back.
Listen,
I want to take a step step back. Right now, we are in a very pro-Canadiana era. We have had threats from our southern neighbor who we thought was our friend, who said we would like Canada to become the 51st state. So the rubber hits the road when, on the one hand, we're like, yeah, go Canada, and the other hand is, well, who's going to defend us? We need somebody to defend us if stuff hits the fan.
But is it our children?
You know, I don't know if it's our children. What I can say is I think we're giving the military a bit of a bad rap here. Only 20% of the roles in the military are actually combat.
For sure.
80% of the jobs in the military are non-combat
like cooks,
roles.
chaplains,
medical
social workers.
I want to go the medical route for a second. My daughter has been saying since she's 4 years old that she wants to become a doctor. So I looked up, what does it take to become a doctor if you're in the military? Guys, it changed my mind completely. It can cost up to $300,000 in an education to become a doctor in Canada. But in the military, if you're in the military and you say, I want to become a doctor, not only do they pay for your entire education, all your tuition, all your books, all your instruments, you get paid while you're learning to be a doctor. You have full benefits, paid vacation, and a pension for life. And guess what? You only have to do 3 to 5 years service, and you're out, and you're a trained doctor. That sounds very good to me.
You know what? That sounds
very good to me.
You know what? That sounds good to me too, because if I have a 16-year-old or a 17-year-old who's a couple years away from finishing high school and they don't know what to do, that sounds great. But my 8-year-old, leave them alone. Do not circle their playground. I'm sorry. It still doesn't make any sense to me.
I think they're just trying to entice them. I don't think, again,
Entice.
like, I don't
That's
love,
a nice word.
I don't love the idea
also some
either,
way,
Andrea. Like, I'm
somehow.
not against that, but they're coming here because they realize that there's
So what's like the daycare, the nurseries?
18-year-olds, it's the same thing in the hospitals.
I hate to burst your bubble, Andrea, but what the kids are
seeing.
seeing, what my daughter at 8 was seeing on TikTok, and now saying, oh, I want to be a TikTok influencer, bring out the tank any day.
Yeah.
I ain't in for that.
Yeah.
I would rather my kids be in the
I want to
military
bring up
too.
another point. There's something else I want to think about, because I am the child of immigrants, as I think a lot of us are. We are first generation. And we make up about 23% of the Canadian population, which is just roughly over 8 million people. And I know that most of our parents left their country, their home, everything they know and everyone they know to get away from war, to get away from this political instability. So I'm just curious with this, like, you know, we're trying to encourage people to sign up, how the first and second generation kids are feeling about this. I'm not saying they shouldn't, I'm just saying, I wonder, because we left for that reason. So are people kind of going, well, we came here for peace and now you're telling our children to sign up and you want to start talking to my 8-year-old about it? I don't know. To me, it's a little prickly. I don't
love
like
this
it.
debate, though. I really do. A lot.
So glad I don't have any kids to worry about. Jeez.
Well, listen, you might love this one too. I want to get your take because the newest Toronto Raptor, Collin Murray-Boyles, is swearing he's happy to move to Canada after going viral for appearing to curse during the NBA draft. Take a look.
With the 9th pick in the 2025 NBA draft, the Toronto Raptors select Collin Murray-Boyles from the University of South Carolina.
You see the emotions there?
Listen, Murray-Boyles said later it was not an angry F-bomb, but rather one of disbelief that he had finally become an NBA player. We got a former pro athlete here. Enoch,
Yes.
your take.
What do you think?
I think it was more relief than it was disappointment. You got to realize when you leading up to this moment, it is one of the most special moments in your career, right? And we don't have to go too far, but back in the NFL draft recently, we saw the son of Deion Sanders go undrafted and slide to the 5th round. Like that moment of excitement builds up for a lot of athletes that their names never get called for, right? And I had an amazing experience through my draft in particular. But at the end of the day, that moment is so special.
Do you remember your reaction? Here's yours.
Oh, look at
Look at you. And I think,
did you so special?
Were there any teams?
Look how awkward this is. Look, I put my jersey in my face and everything. You don't even know what's going on. Like, I always remember that. But you don't know what's going on. Like, it's just like, you're just like, oh my goodness,
So
is
you
this
think
really
it was
happening? Somebody
relief?
pinch
That
me.
was relief.
100%.
You don't want to
Were there any teams you didn't want to go to?
You know what? Coming in, like, your dream is like, hey, I just want to play.
Yeah.
Everybody has a preference. Hey, I want to play home. I want to play closer to this. I want to play closer to my parents or my dad, my uncle, whatever. You may have a preference, but your goal is to get your name called.
So this was relief.
It was 100%
You know what?
relief.
I'll just say this last piece. When I watched this video, I was on the fence because I watched it several times. The first 2 words that came to my mind are media training. I don't know if the agents and managers and coaches talk to these young men. It's like, listen, you're going to be in that room. There are cameras everywhere. I know you have a lot of emotions. Your family's there. There are lip readers, and you never know when you're on camera. So this is your first lesson. You're joining the NBA. Keep that word out of your mouth, and none of this.
No,
It's all
no head shaking.
It's all that. Yeah.
You learn that the older you get in the
No,
career.
but then
like,
you need to tell them now.
it's
there's so much
media
going on.
training. There has to be a tank and a media trainer for our children, side by side.
Come on,
obviously.
Melissa.
I'm just kidding. I'm not kidding. Right, this next story blowing up online. ABC News has obtained a portion of Jeff Bezos and Lauren Sanchez's wedding invitation, and it is getting absolutely roasted online. There it is. Okay, there it is. It's one portion of the invitation.
You think the others are better?
So I don't know. This is the question. So what can we glean from an event, from the invitation that comes for it? Can you read into the quality of the event based on the invite? What do you guys think?
Oh, I think so. I think my sister used to own a wedding stationery studio and design wedding invites, and she would always tell couples, remember that the invite is the first representation of your wedding that your guests see, and it might be the only thing they keep. But I love this for them. I think this is highly on brand for them.
Really?
Their brand is tacky. Listen, they're getting married in arguably a tacky city. They had a phone party.
This is not tacky.
They remember that cosplaying cowboy Vogue shoot they did?
Yeah.
Tacky. They're a tacky couple. So for me, this is not it.
on
And
brand.
I'll also say that you got to remember that an invite outlasts you. My wedding invite I thought was great. It has not withstood the test of time because if you look at it, there is a lyric that says after the party is the hotel lobby from one R. Kelly. And that has not stood up. That has not an outstanding citizen.
Oh my gosh,
That
that's
one's
amazing.
a hard one to come back
I don't
from.
know. I don't know if you can judge a wedding by the invitation. They say don't judge a book by its cover. I don't know. What we should
Says
really
the
be
man
talking about.
on the panel.
Yes, I really,
Do you
that's
even
not a
remember?
detail.
Did you even look at your wedding invitation?
I did take a look at it because I knew it was coming up.
Okay.
It was simple.
Oh, beautiful.
right?
But see, that wedding to me screams class.
But we didn't put too much thought into it, too much time into it. I think what we really should be talking about is, you know, when you talk about a wedding, you're talking about like, okay, what was the atmosphere like? What kind of music was there? Who was sitting at my table? Did I enjoy the time? Like, these are the questions we should really talk about. And like the marriage, the wedding itself, like who's gonna be there to support the wedding? Like talking about the invite is one thing, but the marriage itself is what is going to last.
You know
way
what?
longer.
That's a good answer, but don't forget his wife is sitting in the front row. So don't get fooled, everybody. You're right. It is about the wedding. And I love the way you kept on saying we, and I'm like, I know your wife did all of that. You can just nod.
Hey,
She did all the planning.
I did have, we had final approval, and if they love it, I love it as well.
Oh, that's a good cop-out. Listen, I was just saying yesterday that I would love an invite to this wedding because I love to see rich people and how they spend their money because to me, money does not equal taste. So I'm just so curious. And to see this invitation, I have a feeling there's gonna be a lot of like pigs in the blanket and ranch dressing fountains at this wedding because it is so tacky. Like this, the only thing that's worse than this was I have a cousin who got married who literally just sent us a text message. We're like, be here and don't tell your parents and tell anybody else you know. And I was like, okay, and you know what? The invitation does match the style of the wedding because that was thrown together. I love you.
Yeah,
They're still together though. Loving, wonderful family,
That's
but
what
the
matters
invitation
the most.
was trash. Just like this one.
We're gonna leave it there.
Yeah.
Let's leave it there.
All right, so let's check out this TikTok. This bride-to-be was treated to a video of a series of good luck messages from her exes at her bachelorette party. So, would you want messages from your exes at your wedding celebration? The ladies have spoken.
This is absolutely ridiculous.
Is it?
If the bridal party came to me and said, hey, we have a great idea. What do you think? I would shut it down right away. This is ridiculous.
Chaos.
Why would you ever
I love it.
want to have that there? You do?
Listen, I appreciate the work that took.
Oh,
I think
my
they had to tally up the men,
I wanna see
track
those
them down,
faces.
the production. Also, every bachelorette party now seems so basic, and there's always like penis accoutrement. There's
Yeah,
like
so
penis
true.
straws and penis banners.
so
It's like,
trendy.
well then let's hear from the actual penises.
Yeah.
I got no problem.
Wow,
Okay.
you know what? I think for me, here's the thing. Like, I am mortified at this idea. When you're getting ready for your bachelor, your wedding, and you're surrounded by your girls, you're looking ahead.
Yes.
You should be celebrating all the frogs you kissed back then to find your prince. So the idea of going back in time, and if some of those ended with acrimony, the last thing I want to see is his face and hear his voice.
I'm with you.
I mean, listen, unless it was for the purpose of saying, like, look what you went through to find your Prince Charming. I mean, you could spin it, but that must mean she must be on pretty good terms with her exes.
That's what I was thinking. That's a positive. Listen, I'm with you. I have a dark, twisted sense of humor, so I would love this. But I also can see how this could create absolute chaos before a wedding, because I'm thinking, well, it's funny for me because I'm like, yeah, I'd want to be the one watching it, but I'm like, suppose every single ex looked the same, and then you're looking at the bride like, girl, you were just a carbon copy. It was copy and paste. Or if she dated a lot of guys who are maybe like professional athletes, and then her husband to be is not a professional athlete, it could get a lot of questions. Or like me, maybe you don't remember everybody in those videos, and you're like, who's that? Do you remember him? So I can see where there's a place for problems, but I think it's a sense that she has a sign that she had really good relationships with her exes, that they would even want to do the
and
video.
friends with a sense of humor.
Yes.
And I will say, we want to tell everybody the groom-to-be signed off on this, so he was actually okay.
There you go.
So, and all
Weirdo.
is great. Yeah.
That was just me.
But he probably chose the wedding invitation.
I love the shade.
Okay.
Enoch, always a pleasure to have you here. We love hearing it.
being here.
Thank you.
Subscribe to the Social Podcast so you don't miss a fiery debate. Until next time, socialites.